Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Wamberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new here. Today we have a new moon in Gemini. So for today's tarot reading, I will be reading the cards in that way, in terms of new energy, things you want to call in, newness, just thinking about this next moon cycle and things you want to potentially think about, what resonates, maybe some guidance for you, things that get activated with today's new moon. Okay, I have 3 groups for you. You can go ahead and pick by the card you can see, by the number, by the bird feather, anything that resonates for you. When you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I'll see you at the reading that you chose. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So as a reminder, this is a new moon reading, so I will be reading the cards in that way. You all picked group 1, so you picked the sparrow. So this card, Sparrow, is about momentum energy. You ever heard the saying, God tests us by having nothing happen or having everything happen all at once? Okay, so the Sparrow card is really, if you're in the middle of something or you feel like there's just been a lot of changes or a lot of chaos or this, a lot of this momentum energy of like things picking up and what am I doing? And I have to choose this and blah, 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 all of this is represented with the Sparrow card. But what it can remind you of is just like you can roll with the tides, right? You can adjust your sails, you can adjust your feathers, if we're going with the bird metaphor here, okay? So you can go with these things and you can allow yourself to kind of be moved with them instead of totally feeling like I have no control, I don't know what's going on, this doesn't feel right. Okay, so the sparrow energy, just remember that and sometimes when this happens, we want to compare like, oh, well, I know this person went through this thing, but this person went through this. So what did I go through? What's my experience like, right? But we want to remember that no one has the exact same blueprint as anyone else on this earth. Even if you have all the same circumstances, all the same whatever, right? There's nothing that can be applied to every single person exactly the same. And so if you're kind of looking for some of that relief or looking for some of that affirmation of like, okay, well, I know this, and this thing has to be affirmed in this way for me, right? This card is really reminding us that it's important for you to kind of roll with the movement of your own life and the momentum of your own life, and instead focus on, the way that these things, just focusing on like, okay, this is my life and this is what's happening for me. And I don't need to, find, I don't want to say validation because, we do need to have love and support, but it's okay if your journey doesn't look like anyone else's, and it's okay if, a lot of these things coming together, if you feel some judgment of yourself or you feel like, well, I'm the only one going through this, or this is like this, or this is whatever, this is just a reminder to let that go and allow this energy to flow through you, and just kind of, again, trust that momentum, trust where it's taking you. Sometimes we're in a season of rest and sometimes we're in a season of like really, really flowing. And so again, just kind of letting that energy get out there and riding it out, So your first tarot card, but I'm going to start with your tarot and then do your oracle cards. Okay, so we have death, starting off with a nice big clear message here, group 1. Ace of Wands, Queen of Wands, the Hierophant, Page of Pentacles, not King, and then Justice. Okay, so I mean, and half of your 6 cards are major arcanas, group 1. So I feel like you really are swept up in the winds of change here. Death, obviously. I personally love to see death in a tarot reading. I think this is really just a reminder of all the ways that we do have to continuously die when we're alive, all the ways we do have to remember we're not in control. God is in control. It's not our choices. It's these things we're pushed through. It's these things that, all these things happening for us. And just remembering, a lot of times when we always say, I want to grow, I want to change, I want to get to that next level. But so much of what that requires is the death and dying of way of things that are not for us. And sometimes we like to forget that part, right? Okay, so this death really is about remembering it is about letting things go. Sometimes it is about, anything that wants to die and fall away, stop clinging on to it, use some of the sparrow momentum to kind of ride through that. And just know that, just ripping the Band-Aid off and moving forward is helpful. And sometimes the ego can trick us and make us feel like, the pain of the loss will be worse than the actual loss a lot of times, right? Getting through it, especially if you've gone through hardship or things changing before, right? Getting through it and all that changing is actually you know, it can be worse than, or it's not as bad as the ego makes it seem, right? As long as we keep moving and keep going and use that momentum to get through it, you know, it can change for us in that way. Because then moving right along, we have the Ace of Wands into the Queen of Wands, which is really beautiful. So I feel like this energy, I mean, starting with the Ace of Wands, this is really about, you know, renewed passion, renewed, it could be for a person, it could be for a project, it could be for your life calling, it could just be even for yourself, for God, you know, for your mission here. So I feel like when you let these things fall away and die, when you let them be gone and, you know, be gone and move on with your life, okay, and kind of let them go, that's when you have this space for this new thing to come in, right? So a lot of this death energy, a lot of letting go, actually you have to let something go if you want space for something new to come in. So this Ace of Wands is, I think it's just a reminder, even if it's just a little seed, you know, this is the ace, so it's the first one of the wand suit. Even if it is just a little seed, this really is reminding you, you know, when you have the courage to let something go, something new then can move into your life and can show up. Okay, so this Ace of Wands, again, just remembering, like, even if it's, and sometimes, okay, I just got a lot at once. Okay. So sometimes we think like, well, I have to know exactly the whole big picture, this whole new thing that's happening, or every single detail of everything, right? That's not the truth. This Ace of Wands is about, you know, just trusting that little seed, trusting that little momentum, that little push, that little thing, and then going along with that, you know, this ripe energy, this new thing, just one breath of renewed passion or hope or decision for what you want to have happen or where you want to go. Because then we have going right into the Queen of Wands, really beautiful, the center of your reading, like that can blossom into this queen energy, that can blossom into, you know, it's more mature energy, regardless of your gender. This queen energy obviously is farther along on the suit of the wands than the ace, with the ace being at the beginning and the queen being at completely at the end. So I feel like this is saying, you know, you don't have to know how everything is going to unfold. You don't have to, you know, micromanage the details or wrestle with reality or be like, okay, I'm only going to take this. I'm only going to take step 1 if I know what step 45 is, right? Okay, that's not how we do it. It's not how we find peace. That's not how we communicate with God, right? This is how the ways that we know is just trusting each little intuitive hit we get and knowing that it is going to develop over time into something that can and does serve us, something that does, you know, allow us to be our best selves, that does allow us to show up in these ways that are affirming, that are filled with passion, that are, you know, again, reminding us the ways that these things can develop over time. So again, if you feel like you've been, you know, like you're scared to, I'm hearing like if you're scared to let something go, you have to trust that a new little seed is being planted and something better is being brought to you, even if you can't see what that is, how it's going to happen, what it's going to look like. Okay, don't worry about micromanaging the details of it. So with this new moon, just maybe you can give yourself permission to look at this from a new perspective of, okay, well, I'm scared to let this thing go because I'm scared of this. Or instead, so it can say, okay, well, what can I say about it? How can I feel loving or clear or affirmed or, you know, whatever about this decision I'm making? Because then we have the Hierophant. I love the Hierophant. A very powerful teacher for me personally, but this energy feels like to me, you know, again, I mean, just looking, so we have the Hierophant and then the Page of Pentacles and then Justice. So Hierophant and Justice are very similar looking cards, obviously. Also right up along there is the Emperor, all of those 3 cards, you know, man sitting on a thing with a long red robe on. Okay, so we have a lot of this similar energy. So I feel like on either side of this Page of Pentacles, once you have this passion energy, once you have this like connection, the emotional energy that's there, like this, the divinity to guide you to what thing is good for you, then what's going to come in is more of like some of these practical 3D reality things is what I'm getting from these 3, right? So the Hierophant is about like back to basics. It's about like, you know, making sure you have some of these traditional things going on for you. So maybe the Ace of Wands and the Queen of Wands is just igniting that feeling inside of you, or just kind of realizing, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what feels good, this is what doesn't feel good. And then like I'm hearing the more practical plan will come for you once you give yourself permission to like have space for these new feelings to come up for you. So the Hierophant again is like back to basics. So it could just be, you know, maybe if your intention is to start a new passion project or to connect to God or to, I don't know, you know, I don't know, you know, okay. So this is about just really trusting the ways that you can start with the basics of that. Okay. So let's say you want to connect with God more. So the basic thing with the Hierophant will be, okay, well, I know I can pray. I know I can journal. I know I can meditate, right? You want to have a passion project. It's like, okay, well, I know I could share on YouTube. I know I could start a blog. I know I could make a newsletter. I know I could whatever. Okay. And then nourishing that with that Page of Pentacles energy and just really trusting, kind of like these little bit of ideas that come out for you and just kind of being like, okay, let me test the waters. Let me do this. Let me do that. I feel like whatever is coming up for you, group one, in terms of like resonance with what I'm talking about, this is going to be kind of like a long-term process for you. I feel like it's spread out throughout the whole cards. It's not just like, okay, this is what I'm doing, the end, I have it figured out, right? This is more of a long-term process. And so just like really trusting these little seeds you're getting on the new moon. So I think even if you want to journal or think about stuff today, you can ask yourself, well, what am I getting? What feels right for me? What feels like the right thing? What feels like, this is the guidance I'm getting today. And just, again, kind of focusing on that more than like, what's the big picture? What do I need to know? What's all of that going on? Because then we have Justice ending. So I feel like, again, love, beautiful scales there, and the sword. So I think this is about balance and boundaries. So again, as you are thinking like, okay, this is the direction I want to go. This is the little idea I have. This is the seed that's planning for me. It's like, okay, you don't need to go 0 to 100 with this. You don't need to go completely redo your whole life and get rid of everything that doesn't fit. And, whatever. This is like about, if you want long-term commitment to something, you need to have like slow integration with it, right? Unless there's like an extreme situation, usually the things that we slowly integrate into our lives end up being, again, the most long-term, the things that we connect to the longest, things that are most helpful or clear for us because it came from these other areas. So this card, this information, what I'm really hearing for you, group one, is like, trust the unfolding, even if it's like taking a little bit longer than your ego would like. Okay, even if it's taking a little bit longer than, what you think would happen, and just, trusting these little, I think group one, just, you might be in a lot of this momentum energy we talked about in the beginning with the sparrow, but for you personally, it's about you moving at a pace that's a little bit slower, a little bit more calm, a little bit one step at a time, one day at a time, just getting through this, and just, all the pieces will add up, instead of, knowing like, well, I'm not going to do anything until I have all the pieces, right? It's not how it works. You have to trust what's unfolding and then move forward that way, instead of, feeling like it has to be this exact thing. Okay, I'm going to look at your oracle cards. Oh my God, this is literally what I just said. Oh my God. Hold on, I'm trying to get these two. So we have trust in the unfolding and trust. Okay, what did I just say? Okay, so I'll start with this one. So trust in the unfolding, again, just what I was talking about, of like, I feel like group one, if you've been, with this new moon, if you've been clinging, like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do that? With this new moon, you maybe want to have some energy of like, okay, this is the way I need to go. This is what feels good to me. Please help me, God, like, trust in the unfolding. Please help me take it one day at a time. Please help me trust my process. Trust the, respect the process. Know that there has to be a process, right? Instead of all this. So trust the unfolding is coming out for you. And then we have this trust card too. And it's really beautiful because, so we have two butterflies and you see they're kind of mirrored to each other. So again, trusting that it's a process, and a lot of these wonderful, eventually we see them as wonderful processes in our life, do start with death. Like if you think about the butterfly process, right, the chrysalis process, that caterpillar is literally like a little puddle of goo, and then it becomes this beautiful butterfly, right? So I think trusting in the unfolding, trusting in that, and then you see this mirror, as above, so below, on earth as it is in heaven. Just this energy of knowing that, all these transformations, all these things that are happening are for our highest good, and knowing that the way they unfold, even if they don't make sense or the process doesn't make sense for us, it's just helpful for us to have faith and trust and move through those in, a healthy way. And just remembering like it's God's will, not our will. It's God's plan, not our plan. We can try and control it, but it's just an illusion. The only thing we can control is ourselves and our reaction to things and how we're showing up in particular moments, and not like, it has to be this exact way or this exact thing. And then which one do I want to start? Okay, so we have just what I was talking about. So we have the card Calmness. The inner divine is the witness of all, remaining still and quiet even during intense turbulence. So take a deep breath and then say, quiet my mind, dear Lord, may your peaceful calm take over. So I feel like this is just what I was saying 1 second ago. And it's very much the sparrow energy, this momentum energy, this moving forward energy, this calmness of like, it's important for you to tap into like, how can I soothe myself in this process when I have no clue what's going on, when I don't know what's happening, when I don't know what's the best thing for me? How can I soothe myself? How can I tap in? How can I be connected to that? And then there's a beautiful butterfly on this card, or hummingbird on this card. Okay. And then a hummingbird is just a reminder, you know, when you see them, they look like they're still because they're going so fast, right? So I think that's a nice metaphor also, group 1, for you guys to think about. Okay, even if I feel like my life is moving a million miles an hour, I don't have control, or I don't know what's next, or I don't know what's happening, how can I hold that stillness in myself? How can I hold calmness? How can I release it? How can I give it to God? How can I allow all of that just to create, again, some of this calm energy in my life in that way? Because then we also have the card Pele, divine passion. So be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? So I feel like this is, again, that energy of the Ace of Wands. I feel like maybe why the Ace came out first with these wands is like, maybe you're, okay, this is a message I'm getting now. It's like, you're in a little bit of denial of like, what do I really want? What is actually the thing? What am I pretending I don't want, but I actually want it? You know, where is your passion? What is this thing coming forward that maybe you've tried to pretend like you don't want it, or pretend like it's not part of your life, or pretend like it's not something for you, but time has just shown you time and time again, that this is just like something that feels good for you. So again, where's your passion? What feels good for you? And then the last card we have is the Archangel Raphael. I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. So again, if you're feeling turbulent, if you're feeling like you don't have control, if you're feeling like, you know, I don't know what's going on, I don't know how to do this, this is just a reminder, you know, everyone has a direct line to God. Everyone has a direct line to ask for help. Everyone has a direct line to do all of that. And so if you need that help, please do it. Please ask, okay? You know, strength and heal yourself. Ask for strength, ask for healing, ask for peace, ask for even being shown what to do, right? Just connecting to God and asking for that guidance to come into your life instead of feeling like, oh, I need to do all this on my own and it's me against the world, right? I mean, sometimes it is, but God's always there, right? Sometimes when we shut out the whole world, we shut out God, which is absolutely not necessary. Okay, so it's you know, just for us to think about that and to you know, be mindful of that when we're asking with this. Okay, and then I'm going to pull one affirmation for you. This one jumped out of the deck, so we're going to say, I keep the waters pure. Okay, so again, so I feel like with this new moon, just a lot of cleaning up this energy. What I'm getting big time for you, group 1, is just this energy of like, where can you let go of some of your resistance? Where can you keep the waters pure in terms of trusting God, in terms of allowing God, in terms of letting these things flow and happen and just like show up for you in a way that is loving and kind, and just, you know, keeping your energy pure, keeping your heart pure, keeping your intentions pure. When you do that, it's so much easier to listen to this guidance because you know you're working on being a clean vessel and a clean channel for these things to come through and to hear God's will for you, to hear God's wisdom. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 2. So as a reminder, this is a new moon reading, so I will be reading the cards in that way. Okay, so you guys, group 2, you picked the Great Horned. Okay, so this is a very beautiful card. Great Horn represents joy. Okay, so this is really about remembering, like, you know, sometimes we can get, even if you're on a healing journey or you want to have soul growth, it's about like, I need to be really serious about this, and this is what I need to do, and this is how I need to show up, right? Just remember there's joy, okay? There can be joy in whatever you're doing. Obviously not joy to the point that there's spiritual bypassing or you're ignoring things you need to look at, right? I don't condone that. But sometimes we get really focused on, this is what I have to do, and this is what I'm doing, and it gets so serious and all these boring adult things, right? When instead we just have to remember to give ourselves joy and peace and care and love with all of that too. And just remembering also that, you know, joy, like suffering, you don't get an award if you suffer more, okay? You don't get an award if you only choose painful things or tough lessons or things that just like are soul crushing, honestly. Obviously, again, there's certain things we don't have a choice with, but this is just a reminder, give yourself permission to feel joy, give yourself permission to, you know, it is very powerful to feel joy, to feel laughter, to feel lightness, even amidst a lot of these things in our world that kind of want to encourage you to not do that. So this card is really about, again, tapping into joy, breaking up with any like subconscious commitments you have to only feeling upset, to only feeling, whatever, but just remembering, again, you can feel joy, you can have this energy in your life. It can be something that you give yourself permission to feel. So with this new moon, if you're thinking about where can I add more joy in my life, right? It could be adding a new activity. So maybe, you want to go out in nature and find joy there, or you want to watch something that's funny, or you want to laugh more, right? Or it could be adding more joy to things you already have in your life, joy into things that, how can I show up in this way? I have to go to work. How can I find more joy there? Or I have to, do this thing. How can I find more joy there? So a nice light message to start you off for group 2 with this new moon. I love it. Love to see that. I'm going to start with your tarot, and then we'll do your oracle cards after that. It's opening your reading. We have the Fool, and then we have the 9 of Pentacles. Then we have the 5 of Wands. And then we have 5 of Cups. Then we have 6 of Cups in reverse. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so group 2. I feel like on the road back to joy, you're feeling some obstacles. Okay, that's kind of what I'm getting from this. So this Fool energy is really, I think this is same vibes as the Great Horn. This is really about, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to go. This is what I want to do. This is what feels good to me. This is the way that feels the best. And so this Fool energy is really about like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. Here I go. This is what I want. This is what's going to happen. I'm ready to take the leap of faith, walk right off the edge of the cliff and be like, here I go. This is like, and this isn't like careless, reckless energy, right? This is energy of, trusting what you need to do, trusting what feels right for you, and trusting that, it is important for us to take these leaps of faith, to choose to do new things in our lives, to choose, something else. So I feel like that could be for something, if something's coming up for you, trust that. But in general, I'm hearing, take a leap of faith towards joy, and take a leap of faith towards lightness, towards lightening up, towards having fun, towards letting these things just be more present in your life if they haven't been for you in group 2, and just again like kind of moving forward in these things and letting them unfold in that way, because then look, we go right into this 9 of Pentacles, which is this like total amazing feeling great about myself energy. Okay, 9 of Pentacles is about embodiment. It's about really like owning who you are, and so I feel like this joy and this lightness and full steam ahead and here I go, that is missing from your life right now. I feel like this Fool right into the 9 of Pentacles, if you've been feeling like off, or something doesn't feel good, or maybe you're working through something and it doesn't like feel the most clear or resonant or anything, this energy is really about just reminding you, when you add joy to your life, it makes things so much more bearable. It makes things easier to deal with. And again, like so much of the news and media programming and obviously all the horrible things that we see are happening in the world can make us feel like we don't deserve joy or we can't have it. But this 9 of Pentacles is a reminder that to feel that fullness, to feel who we are, to feel all of that, joy is an essential human component. So if you have been struggling with that, and again, like I know there's mental health things, there's things going on that we can't just be like, I'll just feel joyous, right? But if you can just connect to like small moments of joy in your life, right? Can you just watch like a bird flying and feel joy? And, can I just laugh at this thing and feel joy? Can I see something silly and feel joy, right? Can I create art and feel joyous about that? So I think just, giving yourself permission to feel that coming up, and it can help it will just add a little bit of lightness and joy and laughter and fun into all areas of your life, because moving along with that, but okay, we're getting to a little dark spot here, so don't click off. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. But so we have the 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups, and then 6 of Cups in reverse. So I feel like this is the antidote to, I see a lot of hardship for you in group 2. I really feel it in my heart. So I'm sending you a lot of love if you've been going through a hard time or a challenging time. Okay, but this is just a reminder that when you start to feel joy, there's always a reason not to, right? It could be, I don't deserve it. It could be, well, look at this thing that's going on in the world, or look at this thing that's happening, or look at this, whatever. But this is just a reminder that no one does our work to process our pain or our trauma. So no one should have permission to help to not let us feel joy or not let us feel, proud, or like, this is what I want to share, this is what I want to do, this is what feels good to me. Okay, so I feel like giving yourself permission to feel joy amidst this inner conflict energy, which is the 5 of Wands, and then the 5 of Cups energy, which is like some sadness and loss, that more than one emotion can happen at once. Okay, it's okay to feel multiple things at once. It's okay. It doesn't negate the process. You're not spiritually bypassing, you're not pretending like it's not happening if you do this. Okay, so if you are going through some inner conflict with this 5 of Wands and this 5 of Cups loss energy, giving yourself permission to feel joy doesn't mean you're pretending like this process isn't happening, pretending like you don't have these feelings to process, pretending like, whatever. That's not what we're saying with any of this. Okay, so this 5 of Wands and this 5 of Cups is really just reminding you that, joy can exist with these things at the same time. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to be perfect to work on your healing. You don't have to be perfect to show up to life. Okay, you don't have to be perfect to enjoy life. Life is hard always. We always have things to work through. We always have new levels to unlock and things to deal with. And so these 2 cards are just saying, if you do have some of this inner conflict, some of these lessons you're learning, things you're going through, and then this 5 of Cups also around loss and sadness and letting go, this is a reminder to, don't let that be enough to make you feel like you can't have these moments of joy or happiness or lightness or anything like that, right? You deserve that. You can have it. It's important. And just really reminder that these things can exist at the same time, right? And part of, working through something is like not feeling it all the time, so if you do have some time to feel these things, and again, sometimes we're not, in the most control of our emotions, and it's just things that come up and we have to deal with. We don't feel the best sometimes, but if you can give yourself permission to just feel a little bit of joy, a little laughter, a little lightness, it really can make the process kind of flow a little bit more than what was happening before. Because of what I'm feeling, with the 6 of Cups in reverse is just this really, again, in my heart, this big disconnect from your inner child, this disconnect from like, what just this, again, this like really innocent joy, right? And so it's not like I'm totally happy and everything's fine. That's not what we're talking about with this joy, with this theme of group 2. Okay, this is really about the inner child that like sees a bird flying and laughs, or like wants to run over here and do a cartwheel and then laughs around, right? So this 6 of Cups in reverse really is about like holding that inner child dear and letting those things flow. And I feel like, again, there's just been this big disconnect. It could be, like, again, so much programming we get, like, you have to be a grown-up and this has to be serious and this is whatever, right? But creativity, laughter, playfulness, joy, all of that is connected to a healthy inner child relationship. And so this energy, again, is really about just, if you've been doing that, just seeing if you can call your inner child to come forward, to give them some love and care, to give them some peace offering, some kindness, right? So just any and all of that, just really trying to reconnect to that lightness, that innocence, that, that part of you that really, really enjoys just, laughing for laughter's sake and fun for fun's sake, and just, all these things that are, we get to enjoy life, we get to laugh, we get to, be a little bit lighthearted in things we're doing, despite, all these other heavy things we have to deal with and work with. Because then closing your reading, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is really beautiful. So I feel like it might seem counterintuitive, but adding more joy and lightness to your life is going to help you feel more grounded and in control and clear, and like just really embodying this Queen of Pentacles energy, whatever gender you are. This is just Queen energy, and this is really just about, really feeling like when I do that, I feel strong, I feel clear, I feel in control, I feel like this is a part of me that deserves to be honored and deserves to be included. And so again, it will really move into this energy of just feeling like, leveling up, like not letting joy or lightness or fun in your life is not the way to have a fulfilling life. Okay, don't believe that. This is really, again, about like giving yourself permission to feel whole and complete, and really embodying that in all these ways. And again, this fool, sometimes we need to be a little stupid little fool running around enjoying life, looking at things in these certain ways. Okay, oracle cards now. Okay, so this first one is sacred space. So this is just saying that we do have a sacred space inside of us. We do have like this there is a sanctuary inside of us. And so what I'm really feeling with this card is this inner child, just to call them out, to give them some safety, some love, and some care. And so you can do that by creating, just like putting your hand on your heart, creating sacredness, creating safety within yourself, within your heart, and really honoring that, so just knowing that you get to create the sacred space within yourself. You don't have to, bow down to like, oh, I need this thing outside of me. It's about cultivating, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just a little tiny piece of like stillness and joy and care within yourself. And then the inner child will feel comfortable to like come out and play and, see what's going on with that. Because then we have the Archangel Gabriel. I am made whole by the message of love, brotherhood, and freedom. So again, I feel like this is part of that playfulness, is relying on your support community, relying on people who can show up for you, who do show up for you, all of that. And just, I'm made whole by the message of love, brotherhood, and freedom. Just remembering we need all these components for like a fulfilling life. And that's what I was talking about, even with, like feeling everything. Like God gave us all emotions for a reason. Okay. It's not, we shouldn't stay there. We shouldn't stay stuck. We shouldn't whatever, but there's nothing wrong if you feel a certain emotion about something. And so just remembering, everything that's happening is important. It's all pieces of the pie. It's all things that add up together, that make sense in our lives, that do come together in that way. So just remembering you can rely on those things. And also, again, using love, brotherhood, so your community support, and freedom. So just giving yourself freedom can even be permission to feel, permission to let yourself feel what's going on, let yourself feel, I feel this way, I feel that way, whatever, with all of that. And then we have Easy Does It from the Goddess Oracle deck. So there's no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. So again, maybe you feel like I need to rush through this process. I want to push these feelings away. I don't want to do this. Okay. Just trust that when it's time for you to do something different, you will do something different. And when it's time for you to be different, your body knows the way, your body knows the answer, your body knows the timing, right? Trust that you can't force something because your body is doing the best it can. So Easy Does It is just about accepting all the feelings that are coming up, accepting all the emotions that are coming up, accepting the process, all of that for you. So just, again, there's no need to hurry. It's just about, trusting the timing of things unfolding for you in this way that feels good. Okay, and then we have the pillar. So again, this is similar energy to the sacred space card. So it's just kind of like these pillars. It's like a gateway, right? So again, you want to make this gateway in your heart, in this space for you to have your younger self feel free to feel like they can move forward. They can come out in this way. They can express themselves. They are safe to do that, right? Instead of like, oh no, it has to be this certain way or this certain thing, right? This pillar is, again, making yourself like set up for them to be able to move forward, to come out, to play, come out and play. Okay, just do these things that feel inviting and safe, and knowing you can set up that sanctuary within yourself. You can create that feeling within yourself. You can connect to all of these things. It's a way to do all of that. Okay, and then this last card is relationship. So I call on the infinite power of love to take over this union in every way. May it now fully belong to the divine. Let it unfold in the perfect way for each of us. I needn't fear letting go of control. My needs are always abundantly met. So because this is because I'm reading the cards just for like a one-person reading, I think this is, again, really reminiscent of that inner child energy, and just knowing, I don't know how to start to heal my inner child. I don't know how to connect to them. I don't know, whatever. So you can say this prayer. You can ask God to help you. You can just say, show me what to do. Show me how to do all this. If maybe you are in a romantic relationship or some type of connection, and it's maybe, bringing up some things for you to work through, and it feels resonant in that way. If that's a message for you, great, trust it. But this energy, again, is just remembering, like, you don't have to figure everything out on your own. You can ask God for help. You can ask for guidance. You can ask to be shown, how do I do this? What do I do? All of that energy. So if this could be, take it how it resonates. It could be the main thing I'm getting with this reading, and again, because it's an individual reading, it's a general reading, is just healing the relationship with your inner child. But of course, this can always resonate with, if there is someone outside of you that you need to kind of merge those energies and have a little bit of kindness and forgiveness, and just, letting go of the tension with that, and just, again, more joy. You got a big lesson of joy here, group 2. Okay, so How can you have more joy in your life is really a big thing I'm hearing for you. We'll close with one affirmation for you, one affirmation card. This says, I invoke laughter. Okay, so again, I mean, starting, ending your reading with joy, with laughter, with lightness, with lightheartedness, with enjoying life. Okay, that's just, again, it's just, you know, have some fun, enjoy your life. Don't take things so seriously. It's not that serious. None of us get out of here alive, as they say, right? Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome to everyone who picked group number 3. So as a reminder, this is a new moon reading. So I will be reading the cards in that way, calling new energy, new stories we can tell ourselves, all of that. Okay, so group 3, you guys picked the macaw. So this card represents desire. So it can be one of two things or both, take it how it resonates. But so this card is about, you know, sexual desire. It could be getting clear and unlearning maybe some of the shame we've been taught around being sexual beings, around, you know, who we're sexually drawn to, what feels good to us, the path we want to go on. And I'm not saying, you know, this doesn't have to be sexual freedom. A lot of us have shame around even wanting to be celibate or wanting to not engage sexually, right? So just take it how it resonates for you. But that's the first thing, the first message coming up of like, you know, what was your programming? Who'd you get it from? Why are you doing this? And then also knowing that even just doing the exact opposite of what we were programmed still isn't freeing, because that's still just reacting and responding to these things we were taught, instead of going inward and saying, well, what actually feels good for me? What feels like the truth for me? What feels right for me? What's the thing I want to do for myself? So just thinking about desire and thinking about, you know, if I deleted all this programming and all this unlearning and all this whatever, what is true for me? What feels good for me? What is the thing that stands out for me? And that I know I want to like give myself permission in my life, you know, like, or how am I using sex in an unhealthy way, in a healthy way? What am I making it mean about me, right? So anything with that is very much represented with this macaw card. And then also just again, because we have desire here, okay, that can also be things you desire in terms of not just sex energy, but desire in terms of what do I want in life? What do I want to be free from? What do I want to move into? Who do I want to become? What do I want to? So all of this energy is represented with the macaw. And just like, you know, again, if like sexual stuff isn't coming up for you right now, this can really just be energy around, you know, what feels good for me, and what am I drawn to? What's a desire in my heart that I'm not giving space to exist or have permission around or feel good with that. Okay, so again, this energy really is just about, you know, giving yourself permission to feel what's in your heart and feel these desires and engage them and just listen to them and see what's coming up, instead of, you know, continuing this cycle of no, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, but instead turning inward and saying, what is the truth that's in my heart? What was I taught that was unhealthy, or how have I been using things in an unhealthy way that I want to let go of? And instead, you know, move into this desire of who do I want to be? So that's, I mean, that's a whole free right there for your group 3, if that resonates for you, of just, you know, what can you let go of around desire, around what feels good for you, who do you want to be, and knowing that, you know, even if there are these physical reality roadblocks and it feels like, you know, I'm never going to become that person, or I can't, or whatever, this reminder that you can. Okay, I'm telling you, you can. We can recover, we can change, we can unlearn, we can, you know, kind of change our fundamental beings and things that feel right and good for us with that. Okay, I'm going to start with your tarot and then do your oracle cards. So wow. Okay, group 3. So we have the Nine of Swords, 4 of Swords, 7 of Wands, 9 of Wands, the Star, love to see the Star, and Knight of Cups. Okay, I mean, I feel like you are really going through it. So if it's not something, you know, desire related, there's something going on that's what feels like a nightmare. Okay, that's the 9 of Swords energy, is always about nightmares. It's always about, can't believe this is my life, can't believe I'm dealing with this, I can't believe whatever, you know. So this energy is really about just getting clear of like, where have you reached the end of your rope? Where have you gotten sick of your own shit so much that now you're like, okay, now it's time for me to change, because this particular thing I've been doing or way I've been showing up has just felt so bad that I need to do something different if I want to move forward with my life. So again, this Nine of Swords is about, like reaching the end of your rope and then deciding, okay, now it's time for me to be different. Now it's time for me to do something different. Now it's time for me to, be on a different wavelength of where I am. So if you're in this place right now, this person is so sad. If you're in this place right now, don't judge yourself. I know easier said than done, but there are so many things that we judge ourselves for, but you want to be more proud of yourself that you have recognized a pattern that needs to change and that you got sick of your own shit and now it's time to move forward, than just staying in that loop forever. Okay. So when you realize there's something to change, that's spiritual growth, that's awareness, that's part of the process, even though it doesn't feel good and it feels like you're failing or feels like you're a loser or feels like whatever. Okay. That is actually absolutely 100% necessary step. And it takes more self-awareness and willingness to change to recognize that than to pretend like, there's something that's going on here that you don't want to have happen. So again, this Nine of Swords is really just about, you're kind of your breaking point. You're ready to go. You're ready to do this. And then we have Four of Swords. So this is about taking a break, taking some rest. So I feel like if you're in this process of unlearning something or ending something, or you want to change a pattern or behavior you have, it is going to require some deep rest and some deep going inward, right? So this person, even some prayer, we have some prayer hands going on here. Okay. So just really turning inward and saying like, what is my soul communicating to me? What are the lessons right now, right? Anytime we feel totally out of balance or totally out of whack or totally like, this is not me, what's going on? This deep rest, this checking inward, that is giving us information into ourselves so that we can change and move forward and have something be different in our lives. So again, this Four of Swords, obviously, maybe you can't tap out of your life completely, you still have to do certain things, you still have to show up for work, or, whatever's going on with you, you can find a balance. But this is, I feel like I'm for you guys in group 3, really getting the message of just really, it's time to turn inward. It's time to give yourself space. It's time to, just give yourself permission to kind of you're in a season of where you need a little bit more love and care and like nourishment and turning inward and resting for yourself than the other way around of like, I'm going to do everything and see everyone and do all this stuff. So turning inward for some deep rest is necessary. But what is going to come up with that, of course, is the Seven of Wands, which is internal conflict. This is battling your own demons, battling your own stories you have about yourself, all of these things. This card, we see just like the mental confusion and like not really getting your footing right. And I think just the really good visual is, this person has 2 different shoes on and there's, all these things they're defending themselves against, but there's no one else in the card, right? So this is really about, when you reach the end of your rope, you really have to look at what have I been perpetuating, what feels good to me, what feels bad to me, what when we engage in behavior we don't really like, or we have a pattern we don't really like, it's serving some sort of purpose. And so sometimes we have to do stupid shit to be like, okay, it's time for me to do something different now. Okay, so this card is really, you need to be accountable to what you've been doing, and you need to look at why that chaos is coming up in you. It could be that it's the only way you feel love, or it could be, I'm going to focus on this thing instead of putting all this energy on myself because I don't think I deserve it. It could be, I'm too overwhelmed to look at stuff with myself, so I'm going to focus on all this stuff outside of me. I don't know. It's up to you to turn inward and check and deal with that. But I think, if some inner conflict stuff does come up while you're in this period of resting and reflecting and going inward, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Okay. It comes up to come out. It comes up to deal with it. It comes up so you can tell a new story and have a new experience. So this is, again, really important to just think about, the ways that you, you might have some of that conflict comes up. And then the thing is, you start to heal it by feeling it. You can't change anything unless you face it, because this is so beautiful. It transitions into this Nine of Wands, which is, kind of, look at this energy, chaos, fighting. Oh my God. Okay. The wands are standing still now. They're not attacking you anymore, right? You can take the blindfold off. You can still have your wand for protection in case you need it, but you don't need to be full blown. I have to defend myself. This is the end of the world. This is whatever. So this is, to me, is just a very clear process of healing anything, of just like getting sick of your shit, going inward, looking at your things that are coming up, and then it slowly evens out, it keels out, you know. This is really about, okay, this is the things I have to look at. This is what I have to deal with. This is my inventory. This is how I move forward. This is what is the right thing for me, or this is, you know, so this energy is really about, you know, just taking the pressure off yourself to trust the process and just know that you will get there. As long one foot in front of the other, one day at a time, one thing at a time. And this is, again, part of the process. And where you're going to get with all of this, once you start to look and start to unlearn these things, is, you know, just really looking at like, okay, now I can look at this. Now I can go one thing at a time. Now I can, you know, it feels more manageable, right? Sometimes it can feel so overwhelming because we haven't looked at it at all. And then it's like we open it and it's like, oh my God, where all this stuff come from? It's so much, I don't want to deal with it, right? But, you know, just trust it comes up for us to deal with. It comes up to come out. It comes up because it's time for us to rewrite it, to deal with it. And just, you know, you have to, if you don't deal with it now, you're going to have to deal with it later. So just even being grateful for that can be something. Because then we have look at the star. I love the star. So this is about nourishment. So I think once you do that and you reconnect to your power, you know, you are going to be able to give some, I just really feel it in my heart space, some soothing energies to yourself, some love, some care, some kindness, just some, you know, just a lot of this energy of like, just nourish, lots of nourishing, lots of repouring back into yourself. Like this is similar again to that deep rest card that we have with this Four of Swords, of just like pour into yourself, pour that love, pour that kindness, pour that non-judgment, pour that acceptance, pour all of that into yourself. Just so much of this nourishing energy for you is really being highlighted here. It can be just such a gift you give yourself of just like, I'm going to re-nourish, I'm going to pour back into myself, I'm going to do these things that feel good. Like all of that is such important key components for you to be able to, you know, work through this process and just unlearn whatever's resonating for you. So if you are in this phase, you know, it is important for you to pour into yourself. And, you know, especially as you navigate this stuff, just saying like, I accept you, I'm not going to leave you, I know you're doing your best, I know these are, you know, all of these things that feel good to take care of, and not pushing yourself away from them, right? You want to stay with yourself, you want to soothe yourself. That's like such a beautiful gift. Because then we have the Knight of Cups here, closing your reading. So I feel like once you're able to do that, this is, you know, it's a slow mover, right? It's not the one of the nights where the horses are in the air sprinting forward with action, but this is good. So I think this is again saying you will get through this cycle. There will be movement. You will be able to move towards things that feel good to you again. There's always life in this process. These things always come up to be healed. And again, just remembering that, like, you know, slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to get everything right away. It can take some time to do this and to move forward, but it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. But this is a really beautiful card to end your reading with. As long as you keep nourishing yourself and pouring into yourself, things will change. You will get your energy back. You will come out the other side like changed and evolved and ready to go into this next layer of your life. And it's not in vain. Okay, you will have something happen that feels good for you. Okay, I'm going to look at your oracle cards. Okay, so first we have deep inner knowing. So I feel like, again, this is a card that's really about, you know, sometimes we can be like, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to look at this, I don't know this, whatever, right? But if you're still enough to connect to God, if you're still enough to hold space for yourself, if you're still enough to feel clear within yourself, it's just remembering that, like, you know, your deep inner knowing knows, your soul knows the way, your heart knows the way. When you're connected to God, you know that, you know, when your heart is connected to God and you really pray for that guidance, you know, this stuff isn't in vain. That doesn't mean we condone it, doesn't mean we like it, okay? But just know that this, you know, on some level that this is part of your soul growth and this is what you're here for, and just finding deeper meaning within that. And you see there's this beautiful eye image, and then we also have the Magi here, and also an eye image in a hand. So both of these, to me, both of these cards are about like this deep inner knowing, and it's about kind of being a seer and seeing past these 3D reality illusions, and just remembering, you know, that saying, suffering ends when meaning begins, right? So again, if you look at this just from an ego 3D reality way of like, you know, you don't condone it, you don't like it, you don't whatever, but so there are some things that are for our soul growth to make us go in that way. Again, doesn't mean we like it, doesn't mean we condone it, doesn't mean we want it to happen again or anything like that, right? But there is this energy of just like, you know, seeing through the illusions, seeing there's things happening in physical reality, there's things happening in energetic reality, there's things happening from your, you know, generations before you, from these other things you're picking up on that just like don't we don't know. We only know one tiny little fraction of things that are happening. So this energy is about, really tapping into, can you have trust and faith that, if your soul knows what it's doing and you really believe that, and if you really have faith in God and trust in God, it's like, can you trust that this is happening for a reason and things are, unfolding in the way for you to learn your own spiritual lessons. And again, I know that can be crass, and there are certain points in my life where if someone said that to me, I would have been like, F you, like, no way. So I get it. Okay. But just, you don't have to think about that right now. Just hang in there and know that these things can change. And eventually, once you get to the other side, this Knight of Cups energy, it will be easier to think about it in that way. Because then we have the Archangel Metatron. So I'm united with the source of all goodness, love, and creativity. So I feel like, again, if you're going through a hard time, just don't forget to call on your angels. Don't forget to call on God. Don't forget to call on your own inner strength. Just remembering that, you can, like, even just with this goodness and creativity and love, we'll throw love in there too, right? 'Cause it's on the card. But just remembering, you can tell a new story. You can have these things mean something different than what they've meant. You can be creative enough to evolve into new energy, to have something new happen in your life. And again, goodness, just that pure intention, a lot of this nourishing energy with the star, like, that is accessible to you for sure. And we see that here with Archangel Metatron. And then we have the card Service. So you stop using the universe to try to get what you want and start asking love to use you. You offer all and want to be of service. Ironically, many desires become fulfilled without grasping or manipulation. So this is what I was talking about a little bit before, of like surrendering to God's will and knowing that, like, sometimes when we do get sick of our own things and things we go through, it is for us to be of service. It is for us to, how many times have we gone through a hard time and then we hear another story of someone who's gone through that, and then it helps us too, right? So this isn't about being like, I don't want to do this, I don't want whatever, but just having faith in the unfolding. And again, don't want to be crass. We want to be delicate with this. I want to be sensitive with this, but knowing that all of these things happening at once is part of, the greater piece of service. It doesn't mean like, okay, this is how it has to be, and this is the only thing I accept, and blah, blah, blah. This is just remembering part of being of service is accepting God's will. And then we are responsible for how we show up in that space, and not denying reality, and not denying like, okay, this is the thing I have to deal with, right? This is knowing that all these things are happening of service for us, and also so that we can be of service later to other humans while we're here. And then we have the final card, Mother Earth. You're called to help with environmentalism. So I think this is a specific message for some of you, but if you do have a place where you can connect to nature, or you feel called to the environment, maybe part of what your transformation is it's helping you connect to the earth. But again, the earth is always healing. If you need to be held when you're going through some of these really hard, challenging times, don't forget to go outside. The earth does love supporting us. It is a wonderful, just, I was gonna say, breath of fresh air, literally. It's a breath of fresh air to connect to some of that earth energy and feel just like held and supported and loved. Okay, I'm going to close with one affirmation for you, group 3. Also, this is kind of a deep reading, so give yourself a hug from me, give yourself some love. Just remember, if you stayed with me through this whole reading, part of you believes there is peace available to you, even if it might not seem like it right now. But if you watch this whole reading, part of you definitely does believe that. If you didn't believe that, you wouldn't have stayed watching this, or been committed to your own healing. So give yourself some love and care with that, and I'm sending you some love and care also. Okay, hang in there. Things do change. There's a lot of things in my life I can't believe ever got resolved or healed or anything like that, and they have, thank God. So just, things do change, just keep going. That's the most important thing. Okay, and then we have, I hold purity in high esteem. So this is an interesting one to come out, especially because we were talking about sex things, but not in terms, again, purity is not like, weirdo patriarchal purity, whatever. Okay, purity just means purity of intention. You see the chakras are lit up on this being, and then the dove. So I feel like purity is just like, are my intentions pure? Am I unlearning something because I want to unlearn it? Am I embodying this because it feels like it's the best thing for me, not because I need to prove this or this thing for someone else? So I think this is really, I hold purity in high esteem is really just about like, are my intentions pure? Is why I want something pure, is looking at your own motivations. And it doesn't matter what 3D thing comes with that, because again, we all have our own stories to heal, we all have our own things to unlearn, but this is just remembering, like, when you have pure energy, it's so much easier to connect to your guidance. And so again, just again, the star card, just nourish that, just focusing on clean, pure energy coming through for you. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.